Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the mayor of Phoenix was on the show last night speaking against Prop 487. Tonight, we hear the other side. We'll also hear about new efforts to help Phoenix officials mitigate summertime heat. And could a superbug cause a zombie apocalypse? Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Proposition 487 is a controversial measure to reform the pension system for City of Phoenix employees. Yesterday, we heard Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton speak against Prop 487. Tonight, we hear from City Councilman Sal DiCiccio, who supports the measure. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ted. I really appreciate it.
Why is Prop 487 a good thing for Phoenix?
Well, the City of Phoenix is in a financial crisis right now. We've had more revenue than we've ever received in the City of Phoenix in our history, and we're still facing financial problems, and it's being eaten up because of pension costs. The City of Phoenix saw we've got over 500 police officers short on our streets right now. We saw a new tax increase on water, all to pay for pension costs. So what 487 does is it fixes the broken system and it stops pension spiking.
Okay, now pension spiking, you say stops. I thought pension spiking was already stopped.
That's the biggest game that you've been told. It's just not true. If you're a police officer and a firefighter, that got stopped because state law stops you from doing that because they're under a different pension plan. Under the City of Phoenix pension plan, spiking still continues. As a matter of fact, in last year's budget alone, it was $19 million was because of pension spiking in last year's budget alone.
So when supporters say 240 some odd million has been saved since pension spiking was stopped, you say?
It's only to police and fire. It doesn't include everybody else, all the other civilians. What we saw at the City of Phoenix, we just did a list of the top 50 retirees. 50 individuals at the City of Phoenix that have already retired, by the time that they are 75, are going to take $183 million, taxpayer dollars, 50. So now imagine with 14,000 employees how much that impact is going to be, Ted.
Prop 487, would it not stop payment to state-run pension system for public and for police and fire? Because the opponents say it will, and thus I know that whether or not this affects police and fire is a major sticking point here on both sides. They say that because you stop payment to that state-run pension system, it will affect them. Your response?
It totally, I hate to use this word, but it's a lie. It's just not true. All you have to do is read the Arizona Republic today, and they pointed out that that's just not true. The state pension fund is run by the state of Arizona. The City of Phoenix can't opt out. There are no rules. There's nothing put into the system that once you're in the system, can you get out of it? So that has basically been put out as a red herring to confuse voters.
But then again, they say because 487 isn't necessarily as clearly written as it should be, the mayor last night said it wasn't clearly written, it does risk unpredictable rulings from judges later on regarding whether or not it affects public safety personnel.
Just more disinformation from the other side. What they're trying to do is create so much disinformation that people say, well, I just don't think I'm going to vote on it. What the voters need to know right now and what they ought to be voting on is, do they want to fix the broken pension system or not? 487 does that. The politicians won't fix it. They're not going to fix it. They had their opportunity to fix it, and they chose not to do that. And again, if you look at the editorial, they said that the City of Phoenix officials refused to fix the broken pension system. So citizens had to take this into their own hands. And what you're seeing are the government unions out there passing this disinformation. They did this during the food tax debate. They said the money was going to go for for police and fire. Instead, it went 151 million of it went for new pay raises and bonuses for union employees.
But are there, and again, this is from the supporters now,
yeah.
I mean the opponents saying that there is a risk of unintended consequences, and there is a risk when it comes to death and disability benefits and retirement security for public safety personnel. No risk at all?
None, zero. Death and disability is a life insurance plan. It is not a pension. It's clear as day. And so what they're doing is they're literally putting the police and firefighters out there, just like they did during the food tax debate, in order to get sympathy from the public. That is what's occurring here. Police and fire are clearly excluded from the initiative. It is well written. It is a proposition that's going to save taxpayers over $400 million. And it stops pension spiking, and it stops the pension abuse.
When you say it saves $400 million, critics will say not only will it not save money, it's going to cost 300 some odd million dollars in transition costs going from a pension system to the 401k.
Well, first of all, the transition cost would be related to whether the 401k costs money or not. It actually saves money, and here's where it saves it. The City of Phoenix employees, and the public doesn't know this, they get 2 retirement plans. They get a pension and they get a 401k. Right now, today, they get that. What this does is it says you have to choose between one or the other. You get to keep everything you've earned. Everybody gets to keep everything that they've earned. Their sick days, all those days, they get to keep all that. But going forward, they have to choose one. By choosing one, that automatically saves $18 million a year. The second savings comes in pension spiking. By stopping pension spiking, it saves $19 million a year right off the bat.
Source of income, though, would need to be replaced, according to the mayor. Source of income would need to be replaced, and the unfunded liability, that's going to need to be replaced?
Unfunded liabilities are being taken care of with this 487 because it allows more monies to be put toward the unfunded liability. The current system, the current pension system is broken. It has an unfunded pension liability of $1.5 billion, Ted. So by having these extra dollars in there to do that. Now what the mayor is telling you, he's going to make a decision between the union employees or the public. That's the decision he's going to have to make. Is he going to protect the public in this, or is he going to protect the union employees? When he's talking about the compensation part, that's what he's talking about. Because when you're looking at these 2 retirement plans, you only get to choose one. You get to keep what you earned, but you have to choose one. He's saying he wants to be able to replace that for everybody else, so he games the system. That's all he's saying.
And again, I want to get back to this Prop 201 back a couple of years ago, because I thought that began to address things, and I think that the critics of 487 say that $600 million is already employees, new hires and new employees have to work longer. The retirement age is higher. They have to put more into the system, 3 times as much as existing. I mean, isn't that a start? Aren't you on the right path?
It was a start. It was a small start. It wasn't a big start. What it didn't do is it didn't fix the system completely. If you read the editorial from today's newspaper, it basically says the Phoenix officials punted on fixing it. You know, you got to move the ball somewhere down the field. What this does is it literally creates the long-term fix that the City of Phoenix needs. Otherwise, you're going to see more cuts in services moving forward or more tax increases.
Does not what the city put in place before, though, with Prop 201, does that not, in the end, eventually achieve those goals as well?
No, it doesn't, because it doesn't get you there. If you look at what they put together, they're already having a hard time hiring employees under that. If you talk to the city manager, he'll tell you that the current plan, because it's the cost of pensions are skyrocketing, when employees have to pay half of that cost, which is under that, they're choosing not to do that. And even the report that the City of Phoenix put out, they said, look, if 487 goes in place, those employees are going to move over to this system because it's better financially for them, for new employees too.
All right, last question here. The critics again are saying that this entire 487 deal, it's funded by out-of-state interests. We've got the Koch brothers involved here, they say, and it's basically an attempt to privatize and manage the pension system, all of those monies. That this is not something good for Phoenix, it's good for Wall Street.
Well, they're creating another distraction here to try to confuse voters. The majority of the people that are watching this on TV are under a 401k within their own plans, within their own businesses, or wherever they're at. They already have that. The only ones that are getting these lucrative benefits are government workers and the government unions. That's what they're doing right now. What this does is it moves everybody to the same plan that everybody else has in the private sector. The same ones that are funding the pension plan, the taxpayers, it moves everybody under that and treats them fairly. The people that are under the pensions, they get to keep their pensions going forward. Anyone new has to switch over.
All right, we had the mayor last night. Now we have the other side with you. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Ted. I really appreciate it.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Sustainability looks at a report that's designed to help Phoenix officials ease the impact of summertime heat through the city's cool roofs and tree shade master plan projects. Joining us now is Richard Adkins, Forestry Supervisor for the City of Phoenix Parks and Rec Department. Good to have you here.
Thank you, my pleasure.
The Phoenix, first of all, what's this Cool Urban Spaces project? What are we talking about here?
Well, this was a study that we worked with in collaboration with ASU to look at our heat island mitigation strategies that the city has in place and where we should put a lot of our effort.
What are some of those strategies?
Well, one was a cool roof project for all new city buildings. It was an initiative started in 2006 to paint I think it was 70,000 square foot of city building roofs with a high reflective material. And the other is the Tree and Shade Master Plan, which is to increase the tree canopy throughout the city.
And the study looked at both of these plans. What did the study find?
Well, basically that if you have a combination of a cool roof and trees, that of course you're going to lower the heat around your building. But it found that for most of the effort, that planting trees would be a longer sustaining methodology.
Interesting. And when we're talking about trees, are they desert-oriented trees? Because there's so many factors that come into play. There are water concerns, there are landscape concerns, cost concerns.
Right, and it's also just the urban form, because you have different building sizes and they create shape, different shade and wind areas. So,
and these trees here, what are we looking at here?
Those are Chinese pistache trees. That is in civic space right across the street from us here.
Okay.
Very large deciduous tree. Provides excellent shade.
And those provide excellent shade. Do they survive?
Oh, absolutely. They're fairly drought tolerant and they need some water to get established, but they grow and provide excellent shade here.
I got
in
to
the
tell you,
desert.
I've seen some Chinese pistache trees planted in Tempe, and they don't look all that hot. I mean, they don't look like they're handling things all that well. You sure you're going to handle these things?
They'll do it quite well. There's another variety called the red push pistache that does even better.
All right, okay. The urban heat island effect, trees like we're seeing here, the park with the sculpture there that everyone recognizes, how much of a difference does that kind of stuff really make?
Well, from this study that we found through the modeling they did, it could be from where we are now, which is about 10 or 11% shade canopy in the city, that it could actually increase or decrease temperature by 4.7 degrees Fahrenheit if we get up to our 25% goal.
My goodness. Now, and as far, are there differences? Let's say, this looks like Encanto Park. Is this Encanto Park?
That is Encanto
Okay,
Park.
the Encanto area, most people realize, the Encanto area, very green, it's an oasis kind of an area. What about canopies in desert parts of town?
Well, they still provide, the Sonoran Desert is one of the richest deserts in the world with a lot of tree species and canopy, and that's where the native peoples were always made their homes and used all the products of the trees.
And again, as far as the heat island effect, it basically, when we talk about that, it's what, concrete taking the sun's rays and then getting rid of the sun's heat at night?
Well, absorbing the heat during the day and holding it, and then as it releases at night, it increases the temperature, our nighttime temperatures. And that's been doing for decades. We've been increasing our temperature probably a half a degree a decade for the last 60, 70 years.
Now, there are people watching right now that see this house and see these huge trees. Are these Eldericas or are they Aleppos?
No, these are actually Arizona ash.
Those are ash trees?
Absolutely.
My goodness.
Beautiful fall color.
How old are those things?
Those are probably in the 45 to 50 year
Okay,
range.
all right. Yeah, they've been around the block a few times. But people will see those things and they will say, that's a waste of water. We're in the desert. We can't afford that kind of landscape and lifestyle.
Well, most of those trees right there at that age already, they're getting water from the turf, the grass that's surrounding them, and just our annual rainfall of over 7 inches. They're not really receiving any supplemental water.
So when you do want to add trees, and I'm assuming that the plan calls for additional trees, how do you do it? How do you do it and keep those water needs down?
Well, you just have to manage the water. The biggest thing here in the Phoenix area is we use water, but we don't manage it appropriately. You can still grow trees and manage the amount of water needed. We tend to overwater
Yes.
here in the valley, and so by managing it appropriately, I don't see that we're going to increase our water use that much, but we can increase our shade, which will actually decrease our water use for the energy that it saves us, as well as air conditioning costs.
Now, there are some in low-income neighborhoods that would love to have a bunch of trees lining their neighborhood, lining their property, lining the block. They can't afford it, A, and they can't afford the water to keep them up, B. How do we address this?
Well, that's just some projects that we need to work through on how we can get trees out to some of these neighborhoods. And it's more of an education process as well, to show them that the water needs are really not that high, but still just working together, because it has to be a city-community partnership.
And when you look at, when the city looks at planting more trees, how do you decide where are the best areas to go with these things?
Well, I've done an inventory of all the city properties and where we have trees. We have about 94,000 trees that the city maintains on its properties. And so I know where trees are missing. I know where the species are required. I know where the age component differs and where we could put different trees.
And where you don't put a pistache, for example.
Exactly.
And where you should put a pistache.
Or if you need to, depending on the rooting space. You know, I have different trees for street landscape versus park landscapes.
Wow. As far as people that do want to get trees in their neighborhood, on their property, where do they go to learn about all this stuff?
We have classes I do for the City of Phoenix, that we go out into the neighborhoods and we do homeowners workshops. We also have the Arizona Community Tree Council, and they do workshops throughout the state. So you can easily just contact me at my office and be more than happy to come. I speak to communities all the time.
And as far as the study is concerned, anything surprise you there? Was there anything that you thought or needed to be emphasized that other folks maybe weren't emphasizing enough?
No, it just gave more credibility to the need for trees. I mean, everybody likes trees, but they really don't appreciate the benefits, the multiple benefits that trees do provide us. So it just adds some more science behind that fact that trees should be considered a part of our infrastructure when we're developing the city.
All right, very good, very interesting stuff, and we'll keep our eye on the canopy. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And finally tonight, we ask the pressing question, can a superbug cause a zombie apocalypse? Dave Engelthaler is a director of programs and research for TGen and lectures on that very topic at the Arizona Science Center. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
Thank you.
This is the first time I've ever been able to say zombie apocalypse on this particular program.
I'm really surprised about
thank
that,
you for
Ted.
that. Well, what is a zombie? What is a zombie apocalypse? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so I think, you know, zombies are really in the popular culture right now, and I think it's a really good hook for us to talk about infectious disease, how they develop, how they emerge in new places, how they mutate, how they spread. Of course, Ebola is on everybody's mind. So it's something that people are certainly thinking about. In zombies, you know, Walking Dead and other things that make it so popular, people worry about these things.
And basically, during your lecture, I imagine you get folks' attention when you start talking about zombies.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that zombies kind of comes to maybe an innate fear of we don't know what's out there, something that we can't control, and you know, a lot of this post-apocalyptic things happen in different eras. Sometimes it was nuclear war, and now it's infectious disease, things we can't stop, and Ebola has really heightened that awareness as well.
And neurological aspects of all this, just plain appearance aspects. I mean, there are some folks who are afflicted with certain maladies, certain conditions in which it's very similar to what you're seeing on these shows.
Yeah, so that's a really good point, is I think when we talk about zombies, that's kind of the culmination of a whole bunch of diseases. We don't necessarily have a zombie disease.
Sure.
So I have to tell you, Ted, there is no zombie apocalypse in humans.
Oh, man.
Yet. But there are a number of diseases which, that might make people think about zombies, whether it's something like rabies, where it actually affects you neurologically and makes you want to attack, potentially makes you agitated, attack other people, bite them, because that's how the virus is spread, through the saliva, and that's being driven by the infection. So that's kind of zombie-like. Other things may cause decaying flesh, and group A strep, and necrotizing fasciitis, or this skin-eating disease, and a number of other ones as well.
Yeah. So basically, is there such a thing as maybe viruses or parasites at that level? Are there zombies? Or once anything in this world is dead, it's dead?
Yeah, so I think it's a really good question. There are a lot of diseases that humans don't get, that other animals get, that insects get, that if they occurred in humans, boy, we would think it was the zombie apocalypse. Not that it reanimates them from the dead, but certainly an infection that, just take for instance, what we call these zombie ants, where they get a fungal infection that actually forces the ant to crawl up onto a leaf, underneath the underside of a leaf, bite down on that center vein where all the nutrients are coming from, and so it sucks up those nutrients. Meanwhile, the fungus is just replicating, and then a giant stalk erupts out of the back of the ant's head.
Oh my goodness.
And then the spores can just float down and infect more ants. So it's just part of its life cycle, but it's forcing the ant to do its bidding. So that, if something happened to that human, I think that we would think that's the zombie apocalypse.
Sounds like an alien film.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is real life. And there's a number of very interesting diseases where we have a whole war being waged that we don't normally see.
And we don't normally see them down there. Are there threats that kind of a thing could happen on our level?
So for human infections, what we do know is that diseases emerge all the time. Ebola's been around for a very long time, but we just start to see it emerge out of the jungle. A number of other diseases, if you remember SARS about 10 years ago, came out of places like China, where people live very closely with animals, and then it started to move around the world. It has a very close cousin that just emerged in Saudi Arabia called MERS, which is the Middle Eastern respiratory virus. There's a number of other viruses that are continually emerging. So can something new emerge? Absolutely. Causing something like these dreadful diseases that we see in animals? Hopefully not. What we do have is a number of ways to respond to diseases that animals can't.
But we can be surprised. I mean, it seems like in this world, nothing is surprising science anymore. But something could develop somewhere that could surprise us.
Well, either if it's changes in a virus, like the flu virus changes every year. And so we kind of expect the flu to come, but it really is pretty nasty. Kills 30,000 Americans or more every year. Then we had the swine flu come out of Mexico, out of nowhere, spread around the world, probably faster than any disease in the history of our planet, just because we're so globalized. And that's what's going to surprise us, how things move so quickly around the planet. This part of the reason, this globalization, is why we're seeing cases showing up here and there in the U.S., where it wouldn't have happened before. People weren't coming out of the jungle to the U.S. Now, people are coming out of the jungle, going into major, large cities in Africa, and then those people are moving around. Our doctors are going back and forth. So this globalization is allowing for us to see diseases that we would have never seen before.
But conversely, does that contact mean that we might be better prepared for these kinds of diseases?
I think we are definitely better prepared on a number of levels. We are better prepared than we were 50 years ago because we better understand how diseases move. We have better sanitation, better healthcare, at least in the developed world. We have better tracking systems. But on the other hand, we clearly were not prepared to deal with this. And I say we as a human species were not prepared to deal with a major outbreak like Ebola in large cities in Africa. We could handle it when it was in villages and it'd burn itself out.
Yeah.
We weren't really handling it, it was handling it itself. Now we have no way of handling it. It really is a major, major disaster that we weren't prepared for. Are we prepared here in the US? Yeah, we're going to have a couple of cases, and we'll probably have a couple more, but they're not spreading like wildfire like they are in developing countries.
So as far as zombie science is concerned, and there is such a thing as zombie science, isn't there?
There are people actually who make a living out of studying and probably really hoping that zombies occur one day. I'm not one of those. I'm an epidemiologist and an infectious disease researcher, but I find it really fascinating, that tie between popular culture and what's really going on in the real world.
So what can we learn from zombie science? What do we take from all this?
So there's a couple things. One is there's better ways for us to think about modeling how diseases may move in a population, thinking about different transmissions, like if it's a biting type of a transmission. There are things that we need to learn about for preparedness. How do we respond to different types? If it's an aerosol-borne How do we, as businesses or as people living in home, hospitals, how does everybody prepare for disasters such as a zombie apocalypse or such as an earthquake or tornadoes, which we actually do see in Arizona?
Yeah. Well, very interesting stuff. I'm glad we got you on. We got
Yeah.
a chance to say zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, thank you, Ted.
Always a good day. Good to have you here. Wednesday on Arizona Horizon, a new report on the nation's top cities and states for job creation. And we'll hear about how the Arizona Opera is expanding its repertoire. That's at 5:30 and 10 on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.